A Volvo for half the price, and I'm talking about brand new, not used or second hand. Is that even possible? Yes, it is. With this, the second generation of the Geely Starray. This is the top variant known as GF Plus. The base variant is not known as BF Plus. This car has the same engine and platform as a Volvo. Yes, the XC40. The car's code name is FX11 and it is also known as the Geely Atlas. Yes, this is a Chinese car and hence the aggressive pricing. The key, it has a few buttons. This is obviously to unlock the car, lock the car, open the trunk, and this is to remotely turn on the car as well. Meanwhile, if you notice, the design is very similar to an Indian brand, which is Mahindra, of course, because if you see the XUV range, like even the XEV for that example, the 9E, it has similar DRLs right there. In fact, the lights are really nice here because when you approach the car, it will automatically turn on the lights and it will automatically turn off the lights when you walk away from the car. The good part is that it has a very nice light animation which is just amazing. Unlock, lock, you will see the animation which is like really crazy and cool as well. This is obviously the LED DRL. Right now the indicator is on, so you can see that right here. In fact, this is the main light and I think it is on low beam. It even says intelligent LED Geely. Meanwhile, the grille is kind of large. It has this nice treatment to it. This is the front parking camera. This is the radar for ADAS. You get 4 parking sensors at the front. You obviously get a rain sensor for the wipers and also a lane keep assist camera. Straight away, let's open the engine bay, which is very heavy. This is absolutely heavy. There's insulation here. That is the Volvo engine, which they've actually borrowed from Volvo. They've not done anything in terms of the development of the engine. There is where the washer fluid goes in, and yes, it is quite hot right now, but the weight is like crazy here. Yeah, that is really very heavy. Well, that's what she said. Now, in terms of the design, it definitely looks quite aggressive and it is front wheel drive even though this is an SUV, and the ground clearance is also decent. The tire size is massive. Yeah, 20-inch wheels here, 245, 45, 20s. Alloy wheel design is sort of an EV one. Meanwhile, this is where the valve is. It's a bit different the way it has been done. There you can see the suspension. They have actually put some cladding to reduce the noise. You get this body molding running throughout the car. The length is almost 4.7 meters. The wheelbase is almost 2.8 meters. So yes, it is bigger than the XC40 on which it is largely based. Now coming close to the car, I realize it has this dual tone paint treatment. Paint quality is good, blackened out outside rear view mirrors, piano black, which also goes to the roof. The roof rails don't seem functional here to me at all. And once I get inside, I realize that there is some storage space here with a power outlet and 2 USB-C charging sockets as well. So yeah, this is good amount of storage. To open the glove box, you press a button here. There it opens. The first aid kit is so premium just because it's finished in red. It's become premium, I believe. And you get power adjust for the co-passenger as well. In fact, what is the platform? It is CMA, which is Compact Modular Architecture, which has been co-developed by Geely and Volvo. You know, now Geely owns Volvo. So that is how it works. Meanwhile, fuel goes in right here. It's petrol only. You also get the option of hybrid and plug-in as well. Big enough door pockets at the rear. It says Infinity. Yes, it has got Infinity speakers, 9 speaker system. It says Infinity here as well. That is a tweeter. In fact, speakers are there in the headrest too, which is amazing. It has got 6 airbags. There is no sun blind here. Meanwhile, space at the rear is actually decent. Yeah, it's actually good. Not really scooped out. It is kind of scooped out. You get magazine holder and under thigh support is not the best. Rear AC vents, some storage here. One USB-C, one USB-A charging socket. Almost flat, so 3 people can sit here comfortably. No height adjustable seat belt. Says airbag here. Light placement here. Hook handle. Another airbag right here. And the center armrest has twin cup holders as well. Isofix child seat mount. There is a sort of a recline angle here. No, that is how it is. You can put this down in 40-60 to increase the boot carrying capacity as well, which is quite practical. So yeah, the cabin feels nice and airy. Says Infinity here because of the speaker placed right there, which is nice. Look at the way the door handles have been done. That's also interesting. And the switches have this nerd finishing, piano black, and there's a illumination too. So yeah, nice attention to detail in terms of the design. I kind of like it. Coming to the rear of the car, again, it does this amazing light show when you approach the car. So yes, it will just do a sort of animation, both while locking and unlocking the vehicle. Meanwhile, these are the rear fogs. Look at the aggressive treatment here. So this thing gets carried over here as well and sort of a diffuser treatment, but it has got dual exhausts which are hidden, one here and one on the other side. Meanwhile, 4 parking sensors. There's a camera here, says Geely Starray, And where is the reverse light? It is here. The last light is actually the reverse light. In fact, it even says in chrome full LED on the inside. There's no rear wiper washer. There actually is, which is hidden right below. Yes, take that Tata Motors, take that Land Rover, take that Hyundai Tucson. Yeah, that is something which everyone is copying now. The hidden wiper, which was obviously pioneered by none other than Land Rover. There should have been a washer spray for the rear camera, because if I take it off-road, 650 liters of storage space here in the boot. Light placement here, I don't know what this open vent is, but there's a woofer here, I think. And yes, this is big enough. I can obviously increase the boot carrying capacity by pushing this down. I can push both of them down. Why don't I do that? Here we go. That is the fire extinguisher which also went along. There's some storage space here. Spare wheel is smaller size, 125, 80, 18. There is the warning triangle. There is jack. I can't find rows. And a power tailgate. I press a button and there it shuts. Yeah, it's decently quick actually. The design is actually quite nice. The car looks big. However, request sensors are there on the front doors only, and there's something written here, 99.9% plus some leaf. Notice how the seat went behind. So it has this welcome seat function too. Open the door, seat goes behind. 6-way power adjust for the driver. Memory function is there only for one person. That's the reason it happens in the screen. It doesn't happen here. And look at the switch gear. It's actually nice with this nerd finishing. Door pockets are big enough at the front. Under thigh support is never an issue because I can actually extend this like that. Seats are quite comfortable actually. And this is obviously for the indicator and for the light. Meanwhile, this is for the headlight leveling. And there is some storage space here. The steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. That is the engine start button placed right here. Let's shut the door. That was smooth with some sort of sound, and then obviously the seat is moving ahead. So it has this amazing seat which has, I don't know what function it is, but it definitely helps for sure. Meanwhile, let's shut the lights. Now if you notice, there is a heads up display here which gives you information on the screen. There's this soft touch material, sort of Alcantara finish, which is not needed, but Geely's like, why not? And the steering has sort of a star finish too. Lot of buttons. These are actually for the cruise control. These are buttons for the audio system and to go through that screen. 10.25 inch screen. This remains static all the time. It's telling me I need to buckle up. In fact, when you're driving, it also shows you cars around because it has got G Pilot, which is basically Geely's ADAS system, which actually is quite aggressive. So sometimes it puts you in a lane when you're already in a lane. Meanwhile, what is this information? You can browse through here because there are multiple things to go through. So obviously I can go through a track. It's telling me Bluetooth and it's telling me to use the controls for adjusting the heads up display. But how do I adjust the outside rear view mirrors? Simple. I press a button here and there it will, okay, I think the camera is on. So it's telling me how to adjust it. So I press a button here and then I can adjust it. Look at me adjusting the outside rear view mirror from the steering wheel. Unnecessary complicated. This was not needed at all. But they are like, let's do something funky. So this is how it works. If you want to adjust the mirrors, you have to do it using these buttons. The horn is okay, nothing great, but this car does not get an auto dimming mirror, which is surprising considering it has got a massive panoramic sunroof. Yeah, this is quite big and it automatically shuts. This thing automatically shuts when you lock the car, so you can't leave it open at all. So I think it has a global close function. Maybe from the settings I can change that. Look at that, that is big. Well, that's what she said. Let's open this now. There it is opening. Yeah, it's a bit slow, like most of the sunroofs. They take their own sweet time to open, but it brings in a lot of airy feeling inside, even though we have a beigeish cabin, so we don't need it. That's the maximum it opens. It has got connected car tech. That's why sauce is written here. These are the light controls here on the top. And this is, oh, that is a wallpaper right now. It's telling me the time. This is a 13.2-inch vertical screen, which looks quite nice, but is not the slickest to operate. So these are the few functions: AC, phone, gallery, multimedia, my car. Let's get into gallery. Let's see if there's something funky. No, nobody's bothered to use it. It's kind of empty right now. And this is the main screen. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, but both of them obviously wireless now. This is for the audio system, and let's quickly play some audio by increasing the volume. Notice how this animation happens. Yes, it has got ambient lighting, which actually works across the cabin. It's so funky. It's also doing it on the instrument cluster. Can you believe it? And in terms of ambient light color, now it has got a few colors. So let's come into this particular setting. Now there are a lot of things to browse through. So steering force, you can link it to the drive mode. Can you turn on the heads up display? Can you turn on snow mode and all these things? So see the ambient lighting. There are multiple colors. I think there are 64 colors, and you can change the theme as well. So there are multiple themes. There are 5 themes, and then you can do some sort of linkage to the AC and the music system too. Yeah, that is quite nicely done. And then there is the sound thing. So it's not the slickest to operate as such. Intelligent driving basically for ADAS system, get into vehicle settings, and then you can change a lot of stuff here. So yeah, it's rather easy to browse. It has got a dual zone climate control air conditioning system, and when you turn on the air conditioning now, you can decide if you want the AC to be soft, comfortable or powerful. That can be done as well. I know it's very reflective, so I'm just going to come out of auto, shut the air conditioning for a moment, get out of here, give an indicator on the left, and this camera turns on. Why is the door closing right now? So this camera auto activates at times. Yes, it auto activates at times when it detects probably there is someone in the line of sight. This is the reverse parking camera. It has obviously got adaptive guidelines. Yeah, the camera is actually quite cool here because it automatically turns on whenever you give an indicator, and when it detects an obstacle, it will automatically turn on as well. But it's not the slickest to use. See, I'm pressing a button. I'm already in that setting. That's why it's not working. Okay, in order to go through the drive modes now, it can get a bit complex. So here we are, and it says sport. There are the 4 drive modes of this car. I can pull from top, go to into various settings as well. I turn off dark mode, but nothing seemed to have worked. Come on, yeah, there it is. See, it takes some time because the command goes to China and then only the car activates it. So auto hold function, lane keep assist. I can open the trunk from here. There's no button here to pull to open the trunk, so you have to do everything from this screen. And this screen obviously has a very nice animation when you unlock the car and turn it on or enter the car for the first time in the morning. It does that as well. In fact, this screen also has a very nice animation which I'll show you right away. First things first, it will tell me the vehicle summary of the drive, and there the seat is going back. It does all this, okay, and then it is coming back up as well. Lot of thought has actually gone inside all this. When I turn on the car now, it will have this fire or a bomb blasting right in front of me. In fact, when you do it for the first time, it even says hi. Steering feels nice to hold, sort of flat top, flat bottom, obviously light steering. Yeah, meanwhile there's a wireless charging pad. There's some storage space here below as well, so a lot of storage space. Electric parking brake, twin cup holders, and there's some storage space here. This is actually cooled. That is not cooled though. And this gear lever comes from BMW because it has this crystal effect to it. Kind of cool now how they have gone ahead and obviously taken the best from various brands. Tweeter placement here which says Infinity. Obviously, do you like the design of the dashboard? I think it is nice, but this screen could have been slicker because it's not the fastest to use. And then not having mirror controls here, having it inside the screen and then operating from here, that gets a bit cumbersome. Could have been slightly easier, which brings me to the USP of this car, which is this sun visor, which has this tint to it to make sure that the sun does not blind you. There's also a mirror here along with the light. Isn't this such an awesome thing to have? Yeah, this does not extend, but it's so awesome. And then I don't know why this is there, because you can easily remove it. Yes, there it comes out. I don't know why it's there, but then I'll have to put it back. Obviously, this is such a unique feature in this car. I've not seen such a feature. So the Chinese definitely think out of the box, and every window happens to be one touch up and down. Yes, just press it once and it will obviously oh, there the seat is going back. It's so funky every time, you know, I open the door. Yeah, one touch up down for all the windows. Such a nice feature to have. There you can see the seat moving up. Let me quickly lock the car and see if, oh, there the windows are automatically rolling up. Global close function, very nicely done. That's the reason the sun blind is also shutting there. Yeah, it does all that. Let me quickly turn on the car and see if it actually turns on from here. Kept the button pressed.
Few moments later.
There, the car turned on so freaking smooth. Let's try and roll down all the windows. Am I expecting too much from this car? When the car is turned on, how will all the windows roll down? It will happen. It will happen. Yes, it will happen. And the rear windows roll down all the freaking way. Yeah, that is spacious. And as soon as I move away from the car with the key in my hand, I'm not pressing any button. I'm moving away. The car is so advanced. It knows where the key is. It is rolling up all the windows. Yes, it rolled up all the windows because it realized that the person has moved away. So yes, that is next level intelligence. And look at the lights. They are blinking all the way and they have shut as well. But enough of this blabber. Let's start driving right away. Woo! All right, it's time to start driving. Yeah, I was telling you about the seat position moving. Now I'll show you another very cool feature. First, let's turn on the car. Cool ambient lighting. Straight away, it's time to change the drive mode. First things first, let me turn off the air conditioning here. Now to do everything, now you have to get into the screen, which is a bit cumbersome because they don't have any physical buttons. We come into sports here, and then somewhere here is where I can shut the traction control system. So I have to go deep dive into the menu, ESC sport, ESC off. There, I don't know whether it's sport or it's off, but something is happening for sure. Yeah, it shows me the traction control sign. If I move my seat ahead now, it tells me whether I want to save the position, which means it has memory seat only for one person. Otherwise it would have shown me a lot more, and there's nothing much to play around. I don't think there's Android Auto because there seems to be no setting for the same. We come into drive mode. And that's about it. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Why is this disco still happening? Okay, our specialist timing gear is not on. It will turn on in some time. And revving the motor, and off we go. Oh my god, the wheel spin is quite crazy. Yeah, it does wheel spin a lot because front wheel drive and there's good amount of power here. So this is a 2-liter engine, which is obviously the one which has come from Volvo. This engine produces 218 horsepower and 325 Newton meters of torque. Yeah, it's making sounds there because I'm leaving the lane, and it actually shows you very similar heads-up display ADAS warnings like you see in the latest Audi cars. So a line is dancing there in red telling me that I am leaving the lane. So 218 horsepower and 325 Newton meters is actually considerable considering this car weighs around 1538 kgs. So yes, performance is definitely there. In fact, it even has sort of a launch control, which is quite impressive. Around the corners, it is disappointing because there is a lot of body roll because the suspension is obviously on the softer side, and the steering doesn't have much feel or feedback as such. So steering is actually quite loose. It doesn't feel hairy at all. It's direct, but it does feel a bit loose. So it's not very enthusiastic in that regard. So now is the time to do the 0 to 100 km/h acceleration test, which means left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. It doesn't say launch control, but it's revving to 3600 RPM, and off we go. Sort of launch control. Wheel spin will obviously bog down this car. And then even though this has a 7-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox, it doesn't feel like a 7-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox. There's 7.4 seconds to go from 0 to 100 km/h. I told you the ADAS is very aggressive. It keeps ringing all the time. Top speed should be almost 200 km/h, but since this is from the Volvo group, it will be locked at 180 km/h. I am so damn sure. Yeah, the steering feels lackluster. So much body roll, crazy amount of body roll here. Taking a quick U-turn. Yeah, it's actually very light a steering wheel. And you come into reverse, and there we go. Yeah, that was smooth. Now I think I should definitely turn on the traction control to get a better time from 0 to 100 km/h. So we're just going to try that right now. Yeah, why don't they have a separate button for traction control? I don't understand. Only left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Revving the motor, rev still. Okay, I've done a smoother launch right now. Traction control light blinking, less wheel spin, which means this should go from 0 to 100 km/h faster than it did earlier. Does it make a difference? 7.8 seconds. So my method was the best method. So we're going to turn off traction control again. Let me quickly just give an indicator, because when I do that, why is this not working? This should work. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Things work sometimes, they don't work sometimes. Actually, the thing is I'm at a higher speed now. That's the reason it's not working. And my goodness, the ADAS is so intrusive. It keeps ringing, keeps disturbing me. I didn't ask you for so much information. Why are you trying to intervene? Let's slow down our speed to see if this thing works under 20 km/h. Yeah, there it works. So that's kind of cool. It even shows me the indicator is on. So that's very nicely done. In fact, there's not much which I can change in the screen, which is the disappointing part. And red line seems to come below 6000 RPM. The engine is smooth and refined, has a sporty tone to it as I rev it hard. And now I'm coming across some really bad roads. There are some potholes here, but this car does a really good job on the worst of roads because the suspension is on the softer side. So yes, the ride quality is actually very impressive here. Love the ride. Very nice. In fact, the car is easy to drive. The suspension is nicely calibrated in spite of the fact it's running on 20-inch wheels. Yeah, these are massive 20-inch wheels, and yet the ride is so good here, which is something I didn't expect only. And this thing kind of moves all the time and so flimsy as well. So that's a bit of a problem. Let me rev it. It doesn't hold on to a gear. No, it does not hold on to a gear at all. And upshifts at 5800 RPM. That is quite early. So in terms of the gearbox, the DCT doesn't feel like a DCT somehow. It doesn't shift very fast, but it gets the job done. There are no paddle shifters here, which is a bit disappointing. Yeah, no paddle shifters here at all. So that's kind of sad. And taking a turn here is not difficult at all, because obviously the car is really light and easy to drive. This is a very smooth and easy car to drive, and it is sort of effortless in that regard. I kind of like this car for daily usage because of the practicality and the smoothness with which it drives. It's not a sporty car. It's not going to set your pants on fire. It's not going to make you feel excited when you drive it. It will get the job done, and the aggressive price is one of the reasons why it will definitely attract a lot of people, and that is what Geely Starray is. And Geely itself is a very big company. You will be shocked how big it is. We'll discuss that in a bit. Yeah, this thing will keep ringing only whenever it detects me going out of a lane. Does it put me back in a lane? Let's try that. No, it is like you can come to China, but you will not put you back where you are right now. So it doesn't really turn or put me back into a lane. That's a little bit of a disappointing part. Let's go aggressively through this corner and see how does it fare. Yeah, it's having top heavy feel to it because obviously the weight is not that much. It's just the suspension is softer, so it tends to roll quite a lot, and that roll is the problem, which actually makes you feel a bit, how do I put it, uneasy if you drive it spiritedly for some time. And the suspension is not the quietest, so yeah, the insulation levels could be better. Obviously there has to be some difference between this and a Volvo. Now at the end of the day, why would people buy a Volvo? Because a Volvo has that slight better edge in terms of fit finish, in terms of quality, in terms of maybe suspension noise, and overall ride quality is actually very impressive, so not much to compare in that regard. Yeah, I can feel the roll here, and now I think it's the time to do the most important thing, which I always like to do, which is the brake test. So we are going to go to maybe 100 kilometers per hour and step on the brakes, and now yeah, brakes are okay, but too much ABS pulsating. Hazard lights off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, revs a lot, and off we go. Wheel spin in plenty. So this car sells around 15,000 units a month, I think, in China, which is considerable, but it's not known as the Geely Starray in China. It is actually known as the Geely Boy L. 7.35 seconds to 100, which is not bad at all. There have been a lot of names for this car because Geely obviously has a lot of variants of this car as well. In fact, I think it has been sold as the Proton X70 as well. This is the second generation model. The first generation continues to be sold as the Proton X70. So they have done some mix and match here and there. Now, this being the second generation means that it was launched in 2022. I think in the first generation sold from 2016 to 2022. It's obviously based on the CMA platform, which is developed both by Volvo and Geely together. Yeah, together they have developed it. This is a 2-liter turbo petrol engine, direct injection. They have a 1.5-liter turbo, they have a 1.5-liter hybrid, they have a 1.5-liter plug-in hybrid as well. And this car is available in 4 variants here in the UAE. In fact, it comes with 5-year standard warranty, which is 1.5 lakh kilometer. You can extend this warranty to 6 years, 2 lakh kilometer, or 7 years, 2.5 lakh kilometer, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, the warranty on this car is mind-blowing to say the least. And let's go again. Oh, wheel spin. Let me open this. This is such a cool thing, yeah. And somehow there is this jhulna under when you try to make shifts. So that also happens. Which actually brings me to Geely as a brand. Geely is a Chinese brand which started life as a company which used to make refrigerator parts. Then the Chinese government is like, you please go and make cars. We have very few cars and we want to give competition to global brands, so go and make cars. So what did they do? Well, Geely started making cars, obviously, and the car was so rubbish, the first one, that they could not sell it only. They took almost few years to get an approval from the Chinese government to start selling the car. Yeah, that is how they started, and today they are a powerhouse because they are one of the most impactful auto brands from China. For starters, they got their license in 2001. In spite of the fact they were making cars for 4 years, they could not sell those cars because they got no approval only. And they've always been in some or the other JV. So they took over Volvo from Ford. That is one of the biggest reasons why all of us actually know Geely so well. The other thing is they own 17% share in Aston Martin. Yeah, 17% share in Aston Martin, which honestly is a lot. 17% is crazy. In fact, the whole Volvo group, they own Volvo, the car brand, but the Volvo group, which is obviously the buses, the trucks, the commercial vehicle division, they actually own 6.8%, which is also quite crazy. Yeah, 6.8% is what they own. Nice now. And that's not all. They also own 34% stake in Renault Korea. They own Proton, they own Lotus, they own the London Cab company. The London Cab is a Chinese company now. Can you freaking believe it? They own that as well. And basically, you name it, they have some or the other ownership. In fact, in two-wheelers also, they are quite big because they own Kiwi, they own Benelli, and they have a 50-50 joint venture with Mercedes-Benz for the Smart brand. So you can just realize that this company is having stake almost there we are going sliding. It's having stake in a lot of places. Yeah, that's quite honestly amazing to me, that how this company, which started off as making refrigerator parts, is almost everywhere now. Yeah, let's not get bogged down there. Yeah, they are almost everywhere now, which is honestly not just surprising, it is absolutely insane how they managed to spread their wings wide and able to make an impact in a lot of places. So guys, that is the history of Geely. This Starray is actually very impressive, and if it is launched in India, which obviously is not going to be because the, how do I put it, the way the Indian government just does not want more competition for local players is really bogging us down, because more competition is always a good thing, but that is not going to happen because There is absolutely no plans whatsoever of the Indian government letting Chinese players come in. But if Chinese players like Geely come in, now they're going to make a huge impact because the product is actually phenomenal when you compare it, I mean, when you put it against the pricing. And this pricing will make sure that when such a product is launched, it's going to give tougher competition to Tata and Mahindra, thereby making them more innovative as well. So yeah, more competition never hurt anybody, but I'm not too sure if that's going to happen because of the kind of lobbying which happens in the Indian market. But here in the UAE, in Russia, in a lot of countries, Geely and other Chinese brands are making a huge impact. This is not electric, this is internal combustion engine, and still it is fantastic. What a foresight of actually thinking of going and bringing in, okay, now I think I have a big opportunity of getting stuck. What a foresight of going ahead and buying Volvo. In fact, I forgot to tell you another important thing. The owner of this company owns 9.7% stake in Mercedes-Benz. Yes, 9.7% stake, which is I think second only to bike. So 20% of Mercedes-Benz is owned by China, out of which almost half of that 20% is owned by Geely's founder. And on that disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Come on, let's do it. Bye-bye.